Playing with that man SHIRASU. Let's break it down. Hey everyone, Bruce Decimal Anime here. Hope you're doing well. Laundry Room Bruce, Monkey D. Gucci. It's all good. Here, new setup. Enjoying it. Hope you are too. I'm doing pretty well because we got a new chapter. It just seemed like yesterday I've talked about Diamond Ace, but we have another new chapter this week, 248. It's not over. And we pick off with the cliffhanger that TJ Sensei gave us with the SHIRASU matchup against Kosei at the bottom of the 8th. And we pick up right away showing that he did in fact hit it into center field, not an out. So we see Seidou finally tie it up at the bottom of the 8th inning, 1v1. So now we're back to square one, and what a time to be back to square one because we're at the last inning. We're at the final testing ground, the final stage, whatever you want to call it, final destination, whatever you want to call it. We're here. So now we have to wonder, is TJ Sensei, it seems like it's gearing up for Miyuki to finally score a hit off Kosei, the bottom of the 8th, make it 2-1, and end the game, basically. And, they could always make a comeback with runs, but Sawamura has shown no signs of slowing down, so if Miyuki gets a hit next chapter, it's done. I mean, there's no coming back from that. He's not going to pull a fast one on us. April Fool's is today. He's not. I don't think TJ says he's going to pull a joke, a hoodwink next week. I think if Miyuki does score next chapter, it's over. But, of course, they could keep it 1-1 and keep the game going. But, I think as we're all seeing now, I think TJ Sensei is showing, no, Miyuki's going to hit, Seidou's going to win. They've overcome their first wall. That being said, I am here for this chapter. Because what have I been talking about? If you've been watching that videos, if you have, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. 81 subscribers. We're getting close to 100. I got something special coming for you guys, both video and a little piece of artwork coming for you. But if you've been watching my videos, I've talked about how I wonder if TJ Sensei was going to show us, can these Seidou batters keep up with Sawamura's growth? Can he keep up with his mentality, his Seidou soul, right? Can they keep up with what he wants to do as an ace and as a leader of the team? And I think with this chapter, we've been shown that the players, especially third years, are resolved to carry that burden on their backs. And I think he's showing that they are now near whatever Sawamura's level is of resolve, commitment, play style, playability, whatever way you want to look at it. I think he's showing, TJ Sensei is showing us they are on the same level. Because I was wondering if they did lose this game. I thought it was unlikely, personally. But if they did lose this game, it'd be because Sawamura was great pitching, but the batters could not keep up with him, and they failed to score. Which would be in line with kind of how the story went last time with Kosei, or a matchup against Ichidai third against Kosei, because Sawamura came in too late, and while he galvanized the team, they couldn't score enough. So now it's a nice progression that he was pitching well from the start, and the batters followed suit at the end and were able to come in at the last moment. Not the last moment, they weren't playing terribly, but Kosei's a great pitcher, but they were able to come in and help them and keep up with Sawamura and win the game. I think that's what TJ Sensei is showing us. He's showing my overall point of how the batters are keeping up with Sawamura and how Seidou now, as we see them, is the team that's going to face Tokyo and the Nationals. This team is going to keep going forward. It's going to keep getting stronger. They don't want it to end with Nori on the bench. And Nori has been such a great storyline for this chapter. Some people talk about how they think TJ Sensei hates his characters, hates because he puts them through so much. Sawamura with the yips, Fortea's injuries, now Nori's injuries, Miyuki's injuries. He shows the reality of being an athlete. It's not always an easy one. It's not something you can mentally just do. When you play high-level sports, or even just high-level national, school sports, I never got even near close to that. I just played locally, and I had a lot on my mental when I was playing sports. It's a lot to handle. And I think TJ Sensei doesn't hate his characters. I think he's just not shy about showing you that things don't always go the way you want, and not just with wins and losses. It's one thing if you were never injured and you just kept playing and your team was bad. Okay, yeah, you never won, but you gave it all you could. You can't give it all you could if you're, say, shadow pitching like Nori is on the side. He's helping as much as he can, but he can't even defend. He can't even do outfield. He can't pitch. He can't do outfield. He can't bat. They're not letting him do anything. So we see his fellow third years take up that mantle in his place. The second years and first years too, they care, but the third years, like we see with Shirasu this chapter, he really is the main MVP of this chapter. But just sticking with my point about Nori, his storyline this match has really made it an impactful one. It's one of the more memorable matchups in the series. I'm really excited to see it animated. I can't wait to see this match animated specifically. But his storyline has really carried the match and added an extra emotional weight to it. But it is a shame that we as readers, we like these characters, but they get injured, things happen. TJ Sensei does not hate his characters. He doesn't like doing this. But he shows you that life isn't always fair. Like the life of an athlete is not an easy one. It's not an easy path to walk, but it's one you walk nonetheless. On the subject of my main man, Shirasu, expertly drawn this chapter by, TJ Sensei. He knows when to turn up the art when he needs to. And I like how determined Shirasu looks. I love how resolved he looks in the artwork. Because we find out, speaking of Nori previously, we find out that, yes, he understands, I think, that he just doesn't have the talent, unfortunately to say, to carry on to the higher level of like a pro level. Maybe he could probably find a university to play for, but it's hard to believe that just he understands that talent-wise he probably could not make it to major leagues. But we also find out that he had a conversation with Shirasu where he expressed that he is going to quit after high school, which is partly due to his family circumstances. That could mean health of his parents. They own a business that they want him to help out with, probably. Something along those lines where he feels duty-bound to kind of help them out and quit after high school to free up time. But because of that nature to accept that you're quitting, he wanted to put everything he had into baseball until the moment it ended. Right, high school baseball ended. But unfortunately for him, it looks like it's ended prematurely. And Shirasu talks about how, they can't let it end like this. And I wanna talk about this because it goes back to my point about life isn't always fair, and that goes with athletics as well, sports as well. A lot of athletes' careers are cut short by injuries. We've seen Sawamura, even though he had the yips, which is a mental injury, he was able to come back. Fordia still has time, even though he was injured previously. I'm hoping as a Furia fan he doesn't get injured anymore. But TJ Sensei. But he had the time to come back. It is unfortunate that Nori got injured at this current moment in time before he could pour everything into baseball before he ended. But it looks like he won't be able to do that before high school ends. And I think that's why we know now that's why he was so passionate towards the coach when he asked him to let him play. It wasn't just a thing like, oh, well, I'm not good enough anyway, so let me play. It's, no, I need to leave no regrets. I need to do this because I've accepted to quit. I'm not making a fuss about that, but I won't have a baseball career after this, so it doesn't matter if I, ruin, my pitching motion. I'm never going to pitch again after this summer tournament, so let me do something. But as we see, the coach is not budging. Now, will he maybe in the future? Maybe. We might see Nori, come in a pitching role in the future. But as of right now, we're seeing that even though he accepted everything that comes along with quitting sports, it was cut prematurely. So that is why TJ Sensei drew Shirasu so passionately. He drew him with such a determined face. We see a little more we see more detail on the drawing itself, more than usual, is what I'm talking about. I think Shirasu's face was more animated than we've ever seen it, because he's always been the stoic type, right? Shirasu. Sawamura yells out, quiet but passionate. That is the man known as Shirasu, and that's always been true, right? Shirasu is someone who doesn't say much, but he is super reliable. He has a super clutch gene, in my opinion. He's a very clutch player when Seidou needs him to. But this time we see a little more animation on his face. We see more passion radiating from him. And we have an interesting moment with Okai, where he talks about he recommended that Shirasu be put up in a cleanup role, be put in a cleanup role because of kind of his reliable nature, and people don't like Okai or Ochai. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. They give him flack because he favors Furia, but he doesn't know baseball. He say what you want about the guy. He knows he taught Sawamura how to effectively throw his breaking ball, and we see now he recommended that Shirasu be put in a cleanup spot, and what it is real expertly done that he was put in the third spot because pitchers are going to be wary of Miyuki, so they're going to do everything they can to battle it out with Shirasu, and you need someone who's able to go toe to toe with those pitchers and do it calmly and have reliable batting. Shirasu. So, got to give the man credit there where he decided to recommend Shirasu for the cleanup hitter position. Cleanup hitter position. There we go. And on the other side, we see Kosei. He's unaffected. He's unaffected. He's thinking about it, but we don't see him get shaken. Because we've seen Kosei in the past kind of falter when a team catches up, or he gets shaky towards the end, or his pitching. His pitching shows instability at times, and we've seen him falter because of that. But he feels like, all right, we're back to square one. Let's not panic. He's kind of being the stone for his team to lean on right now. So that's interesting on the other side to see that he is prepared to calm the team down and face the challenge ahead. It's not over yet. The chapters for both teams, it's not over yet. Seidou finally tied up, and they've only just tied up in Takose and Ichidai third. They just got back to square one. It's not over yet. So it's a good chapter title for both teams. It gets good both perspectives. So we end the chapter with Miyuki coming up to bat to Lupin the Third, the theme song of one Tetsu-san, the older brother of Yuki and the former great senpai, or still the great senpai, I guess, of Miyuki, Sawamura Furia, and all the rest. We all love Tetsu-san. I think he's a fan favorite. So we see that Chris-san is he's kind of looking at him like with pride because Tetsu-san's like it looks like surprise, but also looks like surprise, but also looks like he went down and maybe recommended that they play his song for Miyuki to come up to, because now this is time for Miyuki to show that he is the best batter for the job. He is the batter to face nationals for Seidou. So that's a great ending. Honestly, this is a banger of a chapter, but man, that ending with Lupin the Third, because you can just hear it, like, just a man in his own world. I can't sing, sorry guys, but I can hear it. Just looking at Miyuki's reaction and everything like that. So great ending to the chapter, TJ Sensei. That's it for the chapter, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, hit the like button, subscribe, helps the channel grow. I'll be recording and publishing that picture video I've been talking about tomorrow. It'll be out tomorrow. So look forward to that. I hope you enjoy the character that I picked. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time. Later.